in my head, starting out was just to bring this whole image of where I lived and where I grew up back to life again.
Right, Margaret would call me down and I'd meet a gang of 60-year-olds. And then we'd find out what they had to say. And we had a list of buildings, and we started at the top of the village where Murphy's is, where Webster's was, and then we'd work our way down, and they would literally talk through each building and forget about what they were talking about and just talk.
When I was young, as I say, I can remember living here, but I'm a very big picture. And I have definitely rose tinted glasses. And I said, but when it came to building a model, I definitely could give no details, no specifications on anything. I remember one time you asked me to know how many windows was in Cashin's, and I said to you, I hadn't a clue. And you looked back and said, well, did you not see him? I said, no, because we came in at the back of the building. So basically all I ever saw was a hole in the wall that I needed to get out through to get into the shop. So I didn't even see them as windows. But then when we brought these people in, I was totally thrown with the fact that they had so much detail in their heads. And especially, we nearly dealt with all men anyway, didn't we?
Nearly all men, yeah.
I couldn't believe the detail. Patrick Clear started off there, and he was so, I suppose, intent on getting the information across to you. He basically took the pencil out of your hand.
He took the pencil out of my hand and the book, and I gave it to him willingly, and then he told me afterwards he wanted to be a draftsman when he left school.
Yeah.
And he couldn't get an apprenticeship.
Yeah.
And he never did it, so he remembered everything.
He did. He was very good at that, wasn't he? And then there was a few that were kind of bluffing a little bit, but they were getting there, weren't they?
Oh yeah. And the stories were consistent. The people stories then were as important as the building stories. We got them because when they started describing the buildings, then they described which window you'd see certain people sitting behind.
Yeah.
And then they got into kind of where the windows were in the building through who was inside them sometimes.
Mm. And what was really interesting is we'd say the fact that I don't know why I was totally obsessed with Cashin's rooms. It was the one spot in my head, more than anything, not even the shops, but that. And I really wanted that rebuilt. But what did we have? We only had the bare edge of it, bare corner of it.
Yeah, that was 6 foot of it.
That was beside the blacksmiths, and you had to work from that. But the fact, they were able to kind of give you as much detail as they had in their heads, and you were able to reconstruct it. And then when you came back with it, and there was we had Michael Berrigan in and Dan Dohney, and it was amazing. I'm still amazed at the way they were eyeing it up, and no, take it a little bit over this way. And you were there. It was a sheet of paper, I think you were actually trying to, wasn't
mark it with.
Yeah, mark it with. It was the eye of a builder, really, wasn't it?
Oh, it was.
And they were building. We were on board, and they were actually building, weren't they? And that really, now I have to tell you, that's one memory of the project that I hold. I said they're taking this seriously, so they are. I don't have a memory of the cinema, but the amount of people had that memory.
It was consistent too, because they told me in the first day about the balcony, and we heard about the balcony and the plush chairs, and eventually I said to them, what was the balcony like? Well, it was 3 steps up. I said, grand. And so then we built the balcony. But the cinema was the only building anyone had a total inside talk about. There was a certain amount of Murphy's, because the pub was one side and the shop and where children could go was the other side, but you went in the one door, but you didn't look to the pub side or the bar side, and a certain amount in Brennan's, but all the other ones, it was only the outsides people were talking about. But the cinema, we got it again and again, and more detail, and the same detail, so it was consistent.
It was a lived experience. Not knowing that, was I told I was in, I was told one evening I was there, and I said, is that right? I was there. I can see you sitting over on the bench, and I said, that's great. And then my brother told me, when I told him that I couldn't remember, he said, yeah, he said, you were there. He said, well, the 2 of us there. And I said, okay, that's grand, I must have been there. And Georgia came in the other evening, and he went over and he pointed to the very seat, very bench That's where you were sitting. I was sitting beside you, and Richard Keogh was beside you on the other side, and Marion Clear was there. And I said, here he is. He is 4 of us sitting there. Amazed at that. They could see the films. I mean, when I said it to my brother, he said, God, he said, the best one ever, he said, is when they brought The Field. They would say some dramatic school came and they did this. And he said, and there they were on the stage. He said, oh, when the bull, he said, struck the yank and the tomato sauce went everywhere, we were amazed at it. And you see, tomato sauce back in the 60s, I suppose, was kind of new too. And he said, we were talking about it for the whole week, he said, in school. And we kept saying, Jesus, did you see the way he struck him? And Georgie Ivers came back just like that the other day, and he said, and he had a big bunyan, was it? He had a blackthorn stick, and he said, and when he walloped it off the stage, I jumped. And he was actually jumping again, wasn't he?
Oh, he was, and it wasn't even a cinema, that was a live action play.
Yeah. And the rest were there, and it was kind of the westerns and and then, I mean, Michael Clear kept on about, I saw Annie Oakley upside down, wasn't it? Because anytime she was on, we'd say it happened, the film went upside down. But it was even the memories of the films, wasn't it? But for a person who hadn't actually seen these buildings, and to get the reaction that she got, I mean, she didn't get it wrong. She got it spot on. And anyone will tell you that. You know, oh yeah, you got that right. You know, that was a real stamp. But the minute I saw it, I knew it was right. I really did. And we were debating there, will we paint, won't we paint? And you said, we ran out of time. And then we looked and said, no, they actually are, they're perfect. As you say, the ghost buildings. The only one I had difficulty with was Murphy's. Because Murphy's was never white. It was the farthest from white of all the buildings you were going to get. So it was about the only one I was a bit too clean looking. Geraldine Brennan came in the other night, and she lived in Brennan's across the road. This was her house, and I really wanted to see how she'd react. And she came up and she looked at it and she kind of filled a little. And she said, I'm back there again. And for me now, I have to say, it meant a lot to me, because I remember when we opened the school here, and the day we opened, all her family came, and there's 2 of them dead since. But her sister was out there at the wall, and she was here early. And when I got out of the car, she was standing at the wall, and the tears run down her face. And she said to me, it's all gone now. And, you know, I suppose in a certain way, bringing a building like that back to life for somebody, you know, it means a lot. I think it means a lot. You know, others mightn't see the significance of having that building to represent your home place, but for some, it is really, it's in here, you know. And I think Geraldine got that sense, yeah. I got it. I mean, we were here all that day, and I know that when I went out that evening, I mean, Brennan's was alive when I was here, when I was in the building. When I walked out there and I looked and it was gone again, I was kind of, oh my God, I was disappointed. You know, that might sound strange, but yeah, I was actually fully alive here. It was all fully alive. I was sold. Once I saw it, as I say, I was back there. I was walking down that street, and I have walked down that street since then, you know, even in my head. As I know, lots of people, as they leave, they weren't actually leaving the building behind. They were taking it home with